These are the best possible $750 gaming PCs that you can build right now, according to my employees. Here's the deal. If you've watched my content for a while, you already know my style of putting together a budget build. I want to show you different perspectives this time. The reason these two guys got a job here at the ZTT HQ is because they're highly skilled in PC building. But honestly, I have absolutely no idea what their style of choosing parts is because every PC that they've built so far has been designed by me. Today, we're all gonna find out just how skilled my supposed elite PC builders are when I tasked them with this $750 project while I was sipping on some beers with my feet propped up at the beach for a week.
I'm still confident. I'm not being deterred. I'm not feeling any different.
Now, I didn't tell you guys this, but the winner of the competition gets $200 worth of Steam gift cards. I'm gonna be judging both on performance and aesthetics, and the aesthetics judging starts right now. Oh, dang. Oh, wow, I actually really like that. Oh, look at that. That looks good too. Real quickly, here's how we're gonna break down the judging. For aesthetics, each contestant can earn up to 4 total points. I'm about to assign those now, and this is obviously completely subjective. For performance though, we'll run each build through 5 different games. Cyberpunk with ray tracing, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Black Myth Wukong, Doom the Dark Ages, and Age of Empires 2 to make sure we get a game that utilizes the CPU. Whichever build gets the better score will get 1 point for each of these titles. We'll tally up the aesthetic score and the performance score, and whoever has the most points wins. Again, the winner will receive a $200 Steam gift card.
I was very confident. I am no longer as confident.
I'm gonna win. I just know I'm gonna win. It's gonna happen.
I still think I did a pretty good job, but I'm worried that Zach is gonna lean aesthetically towards Aiden computer for sure.
I feel like I got a lot of really, really good deals. So I think that's my biggest advantage over him.
So first up, both of you actually surprised me. Not that I was lacking confidence, but both of these actually look like you guys work here.
Well, yeah.
These are like very on brand, even down to the color of red here. These look really good. So we're gonna start with your build, Nick. And the first thing that I actually saw was not the EVGA graphics card, which is a great, throwback. That might be giving you some bonus points there. But I am noticing the Occupus CPU cooler. I like the brand of Occupus, again, throwback to a video a couple weeks ago, but it is a smaller cooler and the proportions look a little off, don't you think?
Yeah.
Honestly, that is like nitpicking though. I feel like that might be the only negative about this.
Okay.
For this EVGA graphics card, this is the one that has the red stripe on it, and you perfectly built the entire gaming PC around that, which I really like. I honestly, other than the size of the Occupus, cannot think of a single negative on your aesthetics. Like this is completely dialed in for a red and black build. So I think it's safe to give you all 4 points on the aesthetic scoring. All right, Aiden, for you now. This is also a very, very high quality build.
Oh, I know it.
My first question is, were you the one that painted the, you painted this?
Yeah, I painted that.
Oh, dang.
Really? I thought it wasn't that good.
This is a painted graphics card here. There's a couple chips, but I'm not gonna dock you for that.
Yeah.
That is above and beyond how much effort it took to dial in these aesthetics.
I have a whole video of it too. That took me 2-3 hours or something like that.
Nice. It looks really, really good. I love the color scheme. I actually like a little bit more on this one, how it's brighter than this one. That's the only downfall of an all black and red build.
There is one thing I am worried about. That it's gonna be the GPU light. The light on it did work before, and then I painted it, and then it stopped working. I hope that's something he doesn't notice. And the fan in the back of the case that's not RGB, because you guys clowned on me for that last time.
I see some negatives though.
Oh no.
This is nitpicking. Both of these are very high quality. The first one is, why is there no RGB on the back?
Oh no, so I thought that was RGB. Whenever they were filming me building this, I kept saying it was RGB until the end where I turned it on and it wasn't.
But is your exhaust fan RGB?
Yeah, it is actually.
It is?
I made sure to get it RGB. That's $15 right there. This is all, wait, why is that fan not on? Dude, is that not an RGB fan? Is that what you were pointing out that whole, no way. There's no. No, I could have sworn. Oh my gosh. Oh no, that's terrible.
Oh,
I don't know what in my mind made me think it was RGB because I looked up the same model number for this fan that was these ones. This just wasn't RGB. And the funny thing is, this was $15. I could have bought 3 more fans and done all 3 for $15 more. But I ran out of budget, so.
I don't know how much you know this, but that is a big knock for me. I hate when the fans are different, especially RGB to non-RGB. I am also a little bit concerned that it looks like there's a pube. There's a hair like right here on the cable extension.
Is the security officer here today?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yep, thank you. Ooh.
That's an eyelash. That's an eyelash. Trust me, I had clothes on when I was doing this. I just want you to know that.
I'm gonna be honest with you, ma'am. I would love to give you 4 points.
No, come on, you have to.
But I don't think it would be fair or nearly entertaining to give you guys the same amount of points. So I'm gonna give you 3.9.
That's fine.
Which doesn't really matter. So basically 3. Yeah. I will give you 3. It is very close. So we got 4 points on the aesthetic realm for Nick, 3 points for Aiden. Now, real quickly before we get to the parts list, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect the aesthetic judging to be this tough. Both Nick and Aiden really went all out on the aesthetic department, and as the leader of the company, I'm proud of what they did. Nick's 3 sets of 8-pin connectors going to the GPU look so good with these extensions, and even though his motherboard didn't come with a 3-pin ARGB header, he took advantage with just the static red color through the SATA-powered RGB controller. He told me that he actually designed this entire PC around the EVGA RTX 3080, and I've done that very same thing in builds before. This red line going across the GPU will kind of ruin the aesthetics if you don't plan for it properly, so he took advantage of this design for sure. One thing I didn't notice when judging though is that the back of this case is actually all glass, not something I'm normally a fan of, and thankfully they don't really do this anymore. Despite the slightly older case design, these aesthetics are a perfect 4 out of 4 in my book. Now for Aiden's build, this is really close to being a 4 out of 4, and realistically, I probably should have given that to him as well. I love how he went all out on painting this Radeon GPU, and even though the paint got a little chipped, I wouldn't dock points for that because it still looks amazing. I know firsthand how long it takes to disassemble the GPU and tape it off perfectly so you don't overspray everywhere. I also know that it's easy to break things once that fan shroud is removed, and at some point he probably pulled a cable too tight, which is why the GPU's light doesn't work anymore. But again, that's not a big deal. One thing I didn't notice during judging though is that the AIO logo is actually upside down, but apparently he tried to fix that, but the tubes would have looked a bit weird, so he thought this was the best orientation. I do want to also give a special shout out to this funky motherboard because of this 6-pin power connector at the bottom, the VR boost module right above the GPU, this weird red button in the bottom right corner, and also this custom IO plate that he built for it. His motherboard shipped without an IO shield, so he actually had a friend 3D print a grid panel one for him, and then he carefully cut it out to match up with the ports. Again, I know firsthand how long this takes, and after I did this one single time years ago, I decided to never do that again. His looked great though, and honestly, I just love all the extra work he put into this just for the competition. The effort alone is a 5 out of 4. And aesthetically, Aiden's build probably deserves the full 4 out of 4 score. If it wasn't for the one non-RGB fan in the back, which you guys know I always hate, he would have gotten it for sure. But let's move on to the performance section to see if he can redeem himself. Before we do that though, I want to dive into the entire parts list to see what Nick and Aiden put into their builds. As a reminder, they kept these build prices under $750, and they could use any combination of new and used parts. The only rule about used parts was that they had to stay in the state of Pennsylvania, which both of them did apparently. I can't confirm this though. Oh, and needless to say, we recorded all this right before Ramageddon started. If you wanted to use either of these builds as inspiration, you'll have to include at least $100 extra in your budget, just as a heads up. What is your CPU of choice in this $750 build?
So for my CPU, I went with a 5800X.
Oh, okay, AM4, all right.
Not too bad, yep.
Okay, what about the, well, actually, I can already see what graphics card you have. This is an EVGA For the Win 3 RTX 3080. Do you remember how much you paid for it?
330 to 350-ish, somewhere in that range.
Okay, that is a great ratio for a $750 build. And what about the RAM? We got 16 or 32 gigs
It
in
is
there?
32 gigabytes of G-Skill Ripjaws 5 Red. It's 3000 CL16, but I managed to get a little bit of an overclock to 3200.
How are you feeling about that?
Not good. Not good. I'm still confident. I'm gonna win. I just know I'm gonna win. It's gonna happen.
All right, what's your CPU, Aiden?
It's a Ryzen 5 5600X.
Oh.
That's good though. It boosts higher.
Okay, what about the GPU? This is a Radeon
6800
6800
reference card.
non-XT?
Non-XT.
Okay, all right. Well, you definitely have the VRAM benefit here. The VRAM of a 6800 is 16 gigs, where you only have 10.
I have the 10 model, yeah.
I don't think that's gonna affect us today, but it very well could. And how much RAM do we have
We
here?
only have 16,
16 gigs of RAM.
3200, and
Okay.
I believe it's CL16.
Okay, All right. So here for Nic's red and black build, outside of the Ryzen 7 5800X, 32 gigs of DDR4, and the EVGA RTX 3080, honestly, the rest of this is pretty bad. I already mentioned that the CPU cooler from Occupus is the Gamma A40, which isn't even a full-sized 120mm fan. He did have to undervolt the 5800X a bit, but we'll see if that was good enough to keep the CPU temperatures at bay. Your CPU is at 87 degrees at 19% utilization.
Doesn't need to use any more. Looks good.
His SSD was originally a completely fake knockoff Samsung 980 EVO that literally broke as soon as he started installing games. He eventually swapped that out to a similarly priced drive though, just for the record. On the flip side though, the power supply he might have gotten a little lucky with. I think most, if not all of us, thought that this Colink was a random knockoff brand that's just waiting to explode. If you check the new and improved PSU tier list though, this regulator series is actually rated tier B+. So even though it's not a popular option, the PSU reviewing experts think it's pretty decent. And although this MSI X470 Gaming Pro motherboard doesn't sound too bad on paper, apparently he had to update the BIOS 3 individual times sequentially just to get it up to the highest version. He also almost had to drive from Pittsburgh to Harrisburg, which is about 5 hours, until he convinced the seller to just finally ship it to him. It apparently arrived without any sort of shipping protections. The IO shield was just floating around the box. It's a miracle that this thing didn't have any problems. What's also a miracle is that this PC in general even functions at a stable level, because here when you see the parts list, you can tell what his exact strategy was. He went absolutely all in on getting the best possible CPU and GPU, and everything else he kind of cheaped out on for the competition. If you're building a PC at home, then this is obviously not what I would recommend doing.
I've had a bad power supply, I've had a bad SSD, and I've had my graphics card get lost in shipping for like 3 weeks. Get a good power supply, don't cheap out on storage, because sometimes it'll cost you like 8 hours of downloading, and that really sucks.
And then moving on to Aiden's build, this is the opposite approach, and honestly, we gotta give some props for his strategy. In terms of the parts list, outside of the 5600X, 16 gigs of DDR4, and the RX 6800, this is a much more stable and safe set of parts that will probably last a lot longer than Nic's. The MSI X370 X-Power Gaming Titanium is old, but I'm pretty sure this was a high-quality motherboard back in the day and still seems to be pretty stable. This also highlights why we appreciate the longevity of the AM4 socket. Thank you, AMD. He also got an updated case with the Corsair 5000D. The Apevia Prestige power supply isn't the best, but still rocks a decent tier C rating. The AIO will have absolutely no problems cooling the 5600X, and that could end up helping him compared to Nic's build in the competition. And for the SSD, even though Aiden apparently threw it in the trash at some point accidentally and didn't remember until seconds before the garbage truck came down the street, this is a much more reliable silicone power drive compared to Nic's Chinese knockoff. If I was to design a $750 gaming PC, this would be way closer to what I would personally do, but unfortunately that extra money that he put into safe and reliable parts took away some of the money that he could have used to completely max out the CPU and GPU performance like Nic did. Before we benchmark, I would guess that you might have the slight edge in performance Nic, but I very well could be wrong with the 5600X. We'll have to wait and see, or if games are more AMD versus NVIDIA optimized, but yeah, let's go run some benchmarks. The first benchmark we're gonna do is Cyberpunk to get ray tracing out of the way. I got the preset at 1440p medium, but I manually turned on ray tracing. So we are going to run the very first one right now. Right now. Oh, that one's loading quick. Oh, dang, Aiden, you're getting left behind. He's at about 35 to 40 FPS right now.
Technically playable.
This is playable.
Ooh. 20 FPS, you're on a Steam Deck, my guy.
Ray tracing is not exactly the strong suit of a 2 generations old graphics card, but still pretty good, and definitely not the 6800. All right, your first benchmark is over. Average FPS, 44 for Nic's RTX 3080 build, and yours at 23 FPS, Aiden. So as we all suspected, the Nic's RTX 3080 build is gonna take the first point for Cyberpunk with ray tracing. All right, benchmark number 2, Black Myth Wukong, 1440p high, no ray tracing, no upscaling or anything like that. Let's go. We immediately had some issues with this one because I have no idea why Nic's game was suddenly all in Chinese. Maybe he was trying to hack or cheat his way on this one, I'm not really sure. It also looked like Aiden's game crashed at first, but it somehow recovered. Once the benchmark finally did start, I could immediately tell who was gonna win this one. Oh, sorry, Aiden.
No, you don't. Why are you saying sorry already? It just started. It just started.
But we can tell.
I don't care what you can tell. It just started. This This means nothing. I could pull ahead.
Nick's 3080 build right off the bat was looking strong in the FPS department, while Aiden's was struggling a bit. We are looking for elite PC builders here at ZTT. So far, I'm only seeing one. For Black Myth Wukong, Nick's PC got a 57 FPS average, while Aiden's only got 48. So Nick's off to a strong 2-0 lead in the performance department. After that, we fired up Doom, and there was a chance here that Aiden's PC might do well, since Doom usually favors AMD GPUs a bit. His 6800 was definitely working, because now it was starting to get a little hot in our testing room.
I'm telling you, man, it's hot.
It is warm back here.
But all that heat wasn't enough, because Nick's FPS was 81.7 while Aiden's was only 55.2. At this point in the competition, it very well could be wrapped up, but here's where things finally took a turn to make it interesting. Oh, what's going on here?
Oh, I'm way lower.
Wait, really?
Whoa. Oh, wow. Wow. What is happening? You got like some glitching going on here.
Guys, is this a comeback? Do we do an extra game?
Nick's PC wasn't handling this title too well, and for the first time, that smaller Occupus cooler may have been slowing things down a bit. It was actually pretty confusing because his CPU temperatures weren't actually getting that high, but Aiden's PC was utilizing a higher percentage of the CPU. We were all a little bit confused, so we gave the benefit of the doubt to Nick and let him rerun the test. Maybe the shaders weren't compiled or something weird was going on. Sure enough, that didn't do anything though, because Aiden's final FPS score of 41 was higher than Nick's 30. That gets Aiden on the board at least in terms of performance, but with only one game left, I had to think of a way to keep him alive with a chance. I'd be willing to make Age of Empires 2 a 2-point test if
that would be pretty nice.
Anything to keep Aiden alive here. With Age of Empires 2 being our CPU demanding title, Aiden's water-cooled 5600X had a shot to score the double points. The performance of the PCs were really close here, and I'm not gonna lie, I may have been rooting a bit for Aiden's PC at this point. But sure enough, Nick's 5800X cooled by the Occupus got the job done by just winning with a score of 1308 compared to 1278. Tallying all that up, Nick's 5800X and RTX 3080 build won 4 of the 5 games. And although the individual scores didn't have a huge difference between most of them, we do have a clear winner in the performance department. All right, well that wraps up our first build-off challenge here in the ZTT HQ. Shout out and congratulations to Nick on being the better PC builder today, and also for your $200
$200
Steam gift card.
Yeah, Thank you very much, man. That's good.
Yeah, congrats.
Oh, thanks, Aiden.
Nick deserved every part of that win.
Aiden's PC looked pretty nice. The white and RGB looked really cool.
If there was anything I were to change, I guess it would be spend less money on everything else and more money on the GPU.
My initial plan was to get a higher end CPU, assuming there were more CPU benchmarks. I definitely would have changed that to get better cooling performance, leave some more headroom for a better cooler, as well as just a better graphics card. But can't really complain. Still took a W.
Next time it'll be better. I'll be a little less confident. I'll tread a little bit more lightly. I'll get the win next time.
Be sure to let us know in the comment section what price range or even theme we should do for the next challenge, and feel free to check out this video showing how I built a $750 build.